Hello everybody, hope everyone's doing well. Why follow calls are so vital in the sales process, and more importantly, how to prepare for it. Welcome to the Martial Arts of Sales. This is the opening monologue. I hope everyone's doing well. If you're watching this on YouTube for the first time, hit the subscription button below and also share the videos with others and share your comments. Now, there's about four steps you need to focus on and do consistently every single phone call so that you can have a strong follow call where you actually are going to have a higher conversion ratio. For example, through my social media conversion strategy, I'm able to help small business owners, entrepreneurs, and salespeople actually get about 30% one call close on the initial contact. But most of the sales happen on the follow call, where about 50-60% of your follow call will convert from a lead to a sale, but also a prospect to a customer. So here's where a lot of salespeople I've seen over the years really lose it. They take the follow call for granted because I'm sure some of your experience, you gave us a great sales presentation. You felt good about it. Sometimes you were so excited, that's a deal. Or you get all pumped up, your ego gets all pumped up, right? I've been there, I've done that. And then the follow calls, and it's like a girl holding you up on a date, right? They don't answer your call, you can't get through the secretary, they're in meetings, or you gotta leave voice messages. Now you're chasing what I call a bad lead. Because there's something fundamental that you did not do right. So I would say about 70% of your follow call you should be able to have if you do it right, if you follow the process. Okay? So what we're going to talk about in this topic, why follow calls are vital to the sales process and how to prepare for it. One of the things we're going to talk about is how to end the initial contact call. Why is it so crucial how you end the call? Okay, we're going to talk about how do you qualify through the discovery question, not only get data on their business and their customers, but also financial data that's important for you to know. That's where people go wrong. They're afraid to ask financial questions. We're also going to talk about what a box close is, and if it's done right, the success rate for follow calls is absolutely phenomenal. Number 4, we're going to talk about setting up the follow call after the box close. Stay tuned, guys. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I'm very excited about this topic because I've been doing some research and looking at some other salespeople. And follow calls are very rarely are talked about. So hopefully you can learn something from here. You can take action on it. And I would like to hear from you when you do take the action, the success rate you did have. So before we dig into the topic, let's go to the introduction. Hello everybody, welcome to the Martial Arts of Sales. Hope everyone's doing well. Believe it or not, this is a nighttime video. It's about, I would say 9:45 p.m. my time. And I wanted to get this video training in and post it either tonight or tomorrow morning. I hope everyone's doing well. I do thank you for sharing your time watching this video. And if you're watching it for the first time on YouTube, hit the subscription button below. Also, do me a favor, if you like it, give me thumbs up because it does help the algorithms. And the topic, if you watch the monologue, it's a very important topic. I've seen it ignored. For some reason, salespeople are not talking about it. But I think it's an important topic. Why follow calls? And I got my little easel board. See this, guys? Why follow calls are vital in the sales process and how to prepare for it. Must prepare for it. There's 4 steps you must do consistently to be successful in the follow calls. As I mentioned before, over my 30-year plus experience, I've seen a lot of good salespeople that could have done better in sales if they would have just focused and been better at the follow call. Everybody was always focusing on the one call close. There's something about the ego that you get a one call close. Don't get me wrong, I used to be excited about it as well, but I always focused a lot on the follow call. People used to tell me, how do you get people to call you back? How do you do follow call? Why do you do that? Because I said that's where the majority of the calls are at. That's where the relationship really starts. So, I do one call closes, and if it's there, I'll do it. If it's not, I got to make sure that I solidify the follow call, because at the end, if I have something of value to offer, I don't want to have my ego determine that. I want the process to determine that, and to make sure I did everything that I could. So when I do the follow call, that they're ready to own the services, that they're ready to own whatever you're selling them, as long as they know it has a solution. So there's 4 steps we're going to talk about that if you apply it consistently, you're going to see a growth in your sales volume. There's no ways around that. If any of you are trying it and it's not happening, direct message me. I promise you I can help you with this. So let's dig into the topic. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscription button below. Now, one of the first things is, and this is no particular order, so bear with me as I write the steps, okay? So thank you for your patience there. Oh, by the way, I have my cup of coffee. I love coffee. There's a saying, I don't know if you heard of it, I'm sure you in sales have heard of it, coffee's up for closers. For me, coffee calms me down. It's crazy, but it does. So I'm having my night coffee. Hazelnut, great. So one is this. Let me write this down here so you guys can read it. How to end the initial or how you end. I'm sorry. Okay. How you end the initial call is vitally crucial. Why? Very good question. Let me tell you why. As I mentioned to you in the opening monologue, these are statistics that I put together, that I've done searches on my own. With my strategy, social media conversion strategy, typically in the first 45, 60 days, you should be able to convert at least 30%. That's on the high end of the initial call, or what we call one call close. Typically, there's about 60, 70% of the follow calls actually are there for the call. And out of those, about 50, 60% conversion ratio or closing ratio. Okay? So, how you end the call on the initial call is vitally crucial, and the reason for that is this. If you don't end it in a mindset where they're embracing it, they're with you on the call, because if you have experience, you'll know if somebody's just going through the motions or they're really involved. One of the ways you prepare for a follow call is you get them to write certain things down. Why is that important? Because it becomes emotional for them. I always tell customers, write this down. Now it's them, it's theirs, not mine, it's they writing it. And when you write something down, it becomes part of your thinking, it becomes part of you. It actually puts you at ease. And you're selling yourself when you do that. So that's why it's important that you do that in the initial call. Also, the other way to end it is how you do the box close. So for example, do you like the idea, Mr. Customer? Does the idea make sense? Does the product make sense? Do you see the value in the product? Do you see how this is going to help your business and your salespeople? Whatever the product is selling, if you use those words, that's how you prepare for the follow-up call. So the reason why it's also vital is because, we could think that we're giving a great presentation. There were times I threw the kitchen sink at this customer and he didn't take my follow-up call. And when I finally got a hold of him 3 months later, I asked him, why did he make me chase him? Why didn't he not keep his appointment? You know what his response was? He goes, you didn't ask for the order on the initial call. I was ready to buy, and then when I'm ready to buy, I want to buy. I'm like, really? And that's not like me. But I learned from that. So one of the things is I've learned to push during the initial call. Because if you don't push in the initial call, you're never going to get the follow-up call. You can't be afraid on your initial call to push. You've earned the right to push. You got to do it strategically, you got to do it respectfully, but you can't be afraid to push. Keep that in mind. Because if not, the perception they're going to have of you is that you're weak. And it's a psychological thing. Because remember, all you have is your words and the feeling it creates, the emotion it creates, the vision it creates. It creates everything. So now what you say, how you say, all that applies. So that's number one. Number two is what I call qualified customer through the discovery question. So let me write this down here. Okay, number two, qualified, hold on a second. Bear with me, guys. Qualified and discovery process and financial. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Okay. You guys can see that? It's qualified prospect and discovery process and financial. Let me bring that up again. Okay, some of you have heard of this, some of you have not, but discovery. For me, discovery happens from the transition of the opening of the call to what I call the body of the call, or the story time. Now, you have to look at it this way. This is how I look at it, but if you think about it, like playing tennis. You hit a ball, they hit a ball, ping pong, whatever, right? So when you listen to a customer in the opening of the call, and you're doing all the things you're supposed to do in the call, you're setting the tone for how the relationship is going to end. What I mean by end, through the phone call, and how it's going to start, meaning the follow call if you get the deal on the first call. So when you do discovery, now you're transitioning to the story. Now you've earned a lot of trust. You've earned a lot of respect. Now you start to ask questions. They're expecting you to ask questions if you want to solve problems, like a doctor and a patient, right? You know, the nurse takes the questions, then when the doctor sees it, they start analyzing, then they give you some tests, right? Well, now you're both. You're the nurse and the doctor. You're taking the questions, you're asking questions, you're writing it down, and then you regurgitate it back to them, or you reiterate it back to them so that they know that you're in tune with them and that you're listening to them, right? So you do the discovery questions. Here's where a lot of people go wrong, in my experience. I'm just speaking my experience. They're afraid to ask them financial questions. So one of the things that I do in the body of the sales process, on the discovery, I ask them, what type of customers do you have? What type of customers or what more sales, like for example, a remodeling company that I deal with. I deal with remodeling companies, janitorial companies, construction companies, security companies. I always ask them, if you're a remodeling company, what more would you like to see? Or would you like to see more kitchen and baths, more roofing, more flooring, more siding? What would you like to see more sales of? What kind of customers, do you want? Commercial, residential? Okay, great. Once you get specific, then you start to ask, what is the average bath, kitchen and bath go for? Let's say they say $10,000. Hey, my average price is $10,000. Okay, great. How many of them would you like to see new customers for kitchen and bath every month? You got to get them specific. Why? Because now you're going to start asking financial questions. So if they say, I would like to see 5 new kitchen and bath a month. Okay, so if I could put you in a position to get 5 more customers, kitchen and bath at $10,000, $50,000 in new business a month just in kitchen and bath, right? Yeah, great. You can handle that. Great. Now, at the end of that call or at the end of the discovery, I'll ask them, if I could get you 5 qualified kitchen and bath customers a month at $10,000 a month. Now, I cannot close it for you, right? They will have to call you because you're the expert in kitchen and bath. But if I could get you those customers every single month, and that's an extra $50,000 a month in new business since you hired me for my services, can you see yourself doing that? Yes. So if you take $50,000 a month times 12 months, that's $600,000 a year in new business, right? Yeah. How much would you be willing to invest in your business to generate an extra $600,000 on just kitchen and bath? Then you stay quiet. Why is that important? Because you want them to answer it. It's got to be them. They may say, well, I don't know. Okay, well, let me ask you a question, Mr. Cook. What is your conversion ratio? If I bought you 5 a month, how many of those can you close? See, now I'm getting specific. So let's just say they can close all 5 of them at $600,000. I won't move forward till they give me an answer. Mr. Customer, I do a path of least resistance question. Most people, 99.9% people answer path of least resistance question. I would give them a ballpark range. Would you invest $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 to make $600,000? Yeah, I'll invest 50 grand. Okay, great. Is that something that's liquid right now? Meaning, is it in the bank? Does the check clear? Yes. Great. So you could write a check if you know you could make an extra $600,000 and grow your business. Yeah, okay, great. That's how you tie it down. That's in the discovery process. You now have an idea of what kind of revenue or what kind of liquidity they have. So when you start to ask for the order, they're liquid. They could never say they don't have the money because they just said they did, right? Does that make sense? Then you start to ask, what's your annual revenue? How many employees you have? I go through all of that because I never want to go to the close and then they don't have any money or I'm just chasing what we call dead wood or bad lead. Does that make sense? So that's why the discovery question, the financial, is very, very important. Okay? Now, number 3. Let's go to number 3. So, hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope it's helpful to you guys. It's late at night here. So now number 3. It's called a box close. I've been using this for years. And this could just give you an idea of maybe you could add a different type of question depending on your product and services. But it just gives you a path to do that. Let me tell you why this is important. Bear with me, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So I'm going to read it to you first, and then I'm going to show it to you. It's called, number 3 is box close. And there's 3 important questions that you must ask. Is really in the closing you're doing that. After, you do qualifications and things like that. You say a little bit other things, but then you go right for the close. Okay? I'm always closing from the hello. People have to understand, salespeople, the real good ones know that they're closing from the beginning, and you don't hear them talking about I'm always be closing. That's a cliche that I don't like using. But here's 3 things. The box close. Mr. Customer, do you like the idea? Does the idea make sense? Do you truly see the value in what I'm offering you and how this is going to help your business? How it's going to help increase your sales volume, how it's going to increase your revenues, etc., right? Because don't forget this, we're all buyers and we're all sellers. And there's reason why people market and advertise on social media, because they want better leads and they want to close more leads so that they can increase sales, right? Whether you're a startup company or a $1 billion company, it doesn't matter. That's always in common. That doesn't go away. Does that make sense? So when you ask those questions, there's only one right answer. If they say yes, do you like the idea? Okay, great. They say yes, then you ask them, does it make sense? If they say no, they're not serious. I go straight up. I said, listen, you just told me you like the idea, but it said it doesn't make sense. How can you like something that doesn't make sense? Very rare that'll happen. Especially in investing, that it affects your business. There's things that you could just buy on a spur of the moment. You know nothing about it, you just decide to buy. We're talking about your business. The reason why I set up that way, do you like that idea? Because it's an easier question to answer. Yeah, I like it. Makes sense? Well, sometimes it could be genuine. Very rare, it could be genuine. Well, then you know you got to explain it a little bit more. But typically they go, yes. Does it make sense? Yes. Do you truly see the value and how this is going to help your business and sales, etc., whatever you're offering, right? At that point, if they say no, there's one or two things. Either you really didn't sell them right, they really didn't understand, they just going through the motions with you, or they truly don't see the value. Because they may like it, make sense, but they may not see the value, which to a degree is validity in that. But I push them. I said, what do you mean? You don't see the value? You just told me that if I brought you 5 customers a month, that you would close all 5 and you could see yourself putting $50,000 to generate $600,000. So what is it you don't see? Does that make sense? I box them in. And I would not move forward until they answer the question the right way. Why? Because they're testing you too. How far are you willing to go to earn their business? Think about that. And if they resist again, I asked them this simple rebuttal. I said, listen, do you remember your first customer? Yeah. Do you remember how hard you had to go through a lot of other potential prospects, people that wasted your time, till that guy took you serious and he gave you a shot? Yeah. Well, every customer that I deal with is my first customer. I'm letting them know. Be serious. Then they usually answer, yeah, well, I see the value, etc., etc. Because now they know, once they say that, they have to own it. Does that make sense? That's a box close. You box people in. You know? Okay? Hope that was helpful there. So let's go to number 4. All time. Okay, so number 4. Setting up follow-up call. Okay, number 4 is setting up follow-up call. Okay, now this is what I do. When they say they see the value, it makes sense and all that, I go right for the credit card. Or, you know, how do you want to secure this? You know, how do you want to pay this? How do you want to own this? Do you want to own this through Visa, MasterCard, Discover? Do you want to do Zelle? Do you want to do wire transfer? Whatever the case may be, okay? They said, Paul, I really want to do this, but I need 24 hours to think about it. Now, depending how I close, I may go with that or I may continue to push. So let's just say I give in and say, okay, I'm going to do a follow call. The way I do the follow call, I say, okay, you know what? Let's do a follow call. What I would like to do is email you some information so you can have it in front of you. When's a good time for me to call you back? I have availability at this time. If I make a call on Monday, I always set up my call for Wednesday. They like the 2 days separation. Why? Because they're thinking you're not going to call back. That's what they're thinking. So they're going to give you the real time they're available. This is how I trap them. This is how I box them. Okay, great. I'm going to call you back on Wednesday. I have this available time. Would that be good for you? Great. Now I'm going to play the guilt close on them. I'm going to say, Mr. Customer, all I'm asking you to do, if for some reason you can't make the appointment or you got to change it, do me a favor like I would do for you. Give me a courtesy call to let me know you can't make it or you're going to be late or whatever the case may be. Because you will hate that I don't call you and you're expecting my call and I don't even follow up with you. You will not take me serious as a salesperson, right? You will not take me serious on the value that I'm offering you for your business, right? So all I'm asking you is to give me the same respect just like I would do. Is that fair enough? Great. So I have you here at this time, at this date, right? I'm going to email you just to confirm everything. Is that fair enough? Yes. Okay, do you have any questions before we hang up? No? Okay, listen. I want to thank you for your time. I look forward to speaking with you on Wednesday. Again, if you have any questions, just write it down so when we speak again on Wednesday, I can address your concerns and then we can move the ball forward. Fair enough? Great. Listen, I'm excited for you. This is going to help your business, and I'm looking forward to hearing back from you when you get the results that we talked about. Okay? Boom. Then I hang up. See what I just did there? I assumed the sale. I reminded him of the benefits that he's going to get because I want to remember the last words. Here's why that's important. If you do it, remember what you say, how you say is important. Because you want them when they get off the phone, they feel good, that they like you, they trust you, and that this is going to benefit their business. Because if it is in their mind and they're excited about it, they're going to tell their people about it to get ready for this. They're going to be bragging about it. When I was a stockbroker and I had my brokerage firm, clients, when they made money on the stock that I recommended, they would never brag to their partners, my broker made me money, I made money. When they lost money, then they mention me. Okay? But here's what happened. It's like getting a package you've been waiting for and you're excited. That's how you want them. If you tell me you're going to send them an email, that email has to be so valuable that they look forward to it. Everything you do has to have value. You have to be ready. You have to be wanting to hear your phone call. Now, here's what I do to end this. Here's what I do to ensure that I have a high percent of my follow calls there. Tuesday, I always call or I text and I say, hey, this is Paul Cruz. I just wanted to confirm my appointment for tomorrow. Just to, I want to confirm it. That way, on Tuesday, or whatever day it is, if there's an issue or they got buyer's remorse and you got them on the phone, they didn't expect that, you could deal with it right there. That's how I trap. I always do that. I never let them know I'm going to call them on Tuesday or the next day to follow up. Why? Because I want to know two things. Number one, they were serious, or did I do a bad job, or did I do a good job? That's a way to check and balance myself as well. Does that make sense? And you'll be surprised at how you catch them. But also how you save some deals that could have been not deals if you would have waited till the day you were scheduled to call them. Amazing. You got to remember this before we go. You are a buyer just like the other guy on the phone or the other girl. Right? And there are times I know that you told people certain things, you let them believe that they sold you, then you don't take the calls, right? No, I hate doing that. I don't do that. Because one is deception, number two is a lie. I just tell them, I'm not interested, don't call me no more. Period. Because I understand what they're going through. So keep that in mind. But anyway, those are the 4 steps you need to do. I want to thank you for sharing your time with me. I do appreciate all of you who've been subscribing to my YouTube channel, commenting, sharing my video. And I hope this has been helpful to you. Till we speak again, I say goodbye. This is Paul Cruz with the Martial Arts of Sales. Have a fantastic day.